Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dean Callan Show. I am Dean Callan, and this is Cabin Fever number 48. So it's been 48 days, not 48 separate episodes, since we started doing this. And I say we because we're in it together. We've been learning together. We've been, kind of helping each other out. A lot of you guys let me know when there's audio and things. I'm getting a thumbs up straight away, which means that I'm live. We've been in it together. I'm actually quite enjoying the process now. I think as I try to curate content, I realize that as much as I want to put things together that are planned and curated and organized, it's also important to be flexible. And when I say that, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. I had a couple of videos that I was going to play today. I had some bits and pieces of social media that I've seen that I thought was super cool. There's been some stuff that wasn't right for previous episodes, but last night, I found out that an industry icon from Australia, Vernon Chalker, sadly passed away at the age of 55. And if you don't know who Vernon Chalker is, he's a massive and massively influential figure in Australian bartending. In the late 90s, I think it was. I wasn't able to scramble to get exactly the date, but I'm sure it was late 90s. He opened the Gin Palace in Melbourne. And the Gin Palace was a genuine, quality, late-night cocktail bar. It was a place that you could go to get a decent quality martini. You could sit in a corner and have a bottle of champagne, chill, and have a nice time. The decor was gorgeous. It had a really nice atmosphere to it, and the service was it was effortless. It was one of those bars that you wanted to go back to. And for me, it had a massive impact on my career and who I would become as a bartender at a time when I was, I guess, fragile. So his passing, I wasn't a super good friend of his. I didn't know him very well. In fact, I barely knew the guy at all. But I did spend many a great nights in Gin Palace, and that bar stuck with me as a result. So tonight I'm going to make the martini that I think kind of kept me sane when I was working in Melbourne, and also that has stuck with me since the time I first went into Gin Palace. Right, so that martini is called the 1951 Martini. Now, as far as I understand, the story goes that in 1951, there was, I think it was a distribution company. I did read the name, but it escapes me right now. As soon as you go live, everything just goes out the window. And I have a chalkboard, but I didn't write that up. I thought I would remember it. Anyway, distribution company, I think it was. There was some company that run a cocktail competition looking for the ultimate martini in 1951. And apparently there were lots of weird and wonderful, my phone is buzzing like crazy. There was lots of weird and wonderful cocktail recipes sent in, people entered loads of things, but the winning entry was basically a super dry martini where they had rinsed Cointreau into the glass of the martini and then garnished it with 3 anchovy stuffed olives. So you've got a dry martini, nothing too complicated there, but when you start adding the sweetness of Cointreau and that orange flavor, so you've got a fruity sweetness being added, and then you've got a saltiness from the anchovy stuffed olives and the olives themselves, totally different thing, right? And it was delicate. So the first time I had one in Gin Palace, I was like, wow, this is epic. This is nice. And I didn't like olives in my martini. I'm a twist guy. But the particular olives that they had, and I don't know if I've quite got the right ones here, but the particular olives that they had were just the right amount of salty, the right amount of bite to them that made them amazing, right? So I'm going to attempt a couple of different 1951 martinis. The first one I'm going to start with is what I believe to be as accurate as I can to their recipe. Now, The problem I face, if I recall correctly, I think now this is like 2003, 2004. They were making it with Bombay, which if you weren't around in 2003, 2004, if you've only just started bartending in the last couple of years, or if you're someone that didn't really drink gin 10, 20 years ago, it's almost 20 years ago, Bombay was like one of the like top, when I say top, I mean more expensive gins. I remember when I was in Melbourne around that time, Hendrix had just come out a couple of years prior. Martin Miller's gin had just come out a couple of years prior, and like they just started hitting the Australian market when I was there. So, yeah, like Bombay was the business. So I'm gonna be unable to make it with Bombay. What I'm gonna do though is I've got my random aged Bombay, and I'm gonna leave that for recipe number 3, and I'm gonna start with Plymouth. Because I think Plymouth makes a lovely martini. Plymouth is what I would normally kind of choose in my dry martini. Now, the first thing I need to do now is find out which kind of olives I'm going to use. I don't know what is going on here, but Electra's not trying to tell me that this isn't working. No one's saying anything. It's all cool. It's just people sending me messages. Right, so on here, I've got 2 different types of olives. Now, this one, if I cut to, like, where is the closest of close-ups? Maybe this one, right? You can't read. Can you read that? I don't know. Anyway, these are olives that we got from basically Albert Adria, like the El Bulli guys, right? So these are super amazing anchovy stuffed olives. These are your stock standard tinned anchovy stuffed olives. And also, in case you didn't know, yes, you can order like food from Albert Adria online, and they post it to the UK. I don't know how that works, but in case you're interested to know, the olives are a normal size. Thanks, boys, for tuning in there. The olives are a normal size, right? The El Bulli olives. And I call them El Bulli olives because it's just easier to remember. The guys that created El Bulli tickets, Bodega 1900, are releasing these things. If you do go to buy the pork scratchings, though, and you think the pork scratchings bag is just going to be a normal bag of pork scratchings, you're wrong, my friend. The pork scratchings from Albert Adria, right? You get your money's worth in the pork scratchings. Look at the size. It's like they just got a planer out and just shaved off the back of a pig. That is some serious pork scratchings. My mouth is watering now. Right, so pork scratchings aside, I'm going to taste these again. I've already had 2 1951 martinis. I'm on my way. I needed the boost in confidence, and I'm going to try these. When I made it myself, now I worked at the Martini Bar at the Western Hotel, around the corner from the Gin Palace, and I hated the common drink order in the bar I was working in at the time, and I didn't have the mindset or the influence to change what the food and beverage director and the bar manager at the time was having us make. But I'll tell you this, the number 1 cocktail on the menu at the time when I first started there was a lychee martini, it was called the Martini Bar, followed by the strawberry crantini. And anyone that's made a drink before in a real busy bar will understand that taking 4 to 5 strawberries and throwing them into a shaker, right? And then getting a muddling stick, putting a little bit of sugar on top and muddling 4 to 5 strawberries, and then cleaning off the muddling pin, putting that away, and then adding Finlandia lime vodka. What else was there? Finlandia lime vodka. There was like a strawberry liqueur, which I think was the Maduri, like the strawberry version of Maduri. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was disgusting. Like, well, I'm not saying the Maduri strawberry is bad, but I mean, it wasn't what you want in a martini bar at the 5-star hotel, right? People should be drinking old fashions, Manhattans, real martinis. Anyway, It was just like a horrible drink. Bit of cranberry juice, shaken, and then strained and double strained. And when you've muddled 5 strawberries into the drink, and they're all starchy, they're not great strawberries, and they're not even ripe, it's just gelatinous crap that sticks up your tea strainer. So then you've got to clean the tea strainer for ages, and you've got 6 more orders for lychee martinis and strawberry crantinis. Drove me crazy. I went to Gin Palace. I went there before work. I went there on my lunch break, and I had like what Jake Berger would only describe as like a 3 martini lunch. They didn't do a gin salad, but close enough. All right. I'm not going to lie. Those taste more like the olives I remember. They taste like I'm going out to a fancy restaurant. I'm going to go with these ones. Right? I'll save these for dinner. So, olives picked. I used to get the Spanish canned de anchoa olives. You can also get the cans in a really tiny airplane size, which have about 20, 30, 40 olives in it. Great, because you're opening up the can, you're using the olives, and then you get rid of the can. When you decant that into your little garnish, white little garnish thing, you make a couple of martinis, and then you eat all the olives. That's what happened to me. I used to eat all the olives. So now we've got our olives selected. We've got our Plymouth. Now, the way they made this drink, because it was back in the day, they would build ice into the mixing glass. And then, this is getting some old school style. You'd build the ice into the mixing glass. You'd pour the vermouth, very gentle amount of vermouth over the mixing glass, as far as I remember. And then you would discard that. So you're making an extra dry martini. And then build the dry martini over it. And rim the glass or line the glass with the Contro, right? So for me, I'm going to start by doing that in this first one. Got my ice. I'm going to reuse this ice. Got my ice. Just use the tiniest little bar spoon of vermouth, right? Imagining it's back in the day where, people would wave the vermouth in front of a martini. These days, a lot more vermouth is used because a lot more vermouth is consumed, which means basically, because more people are drinking vermouth and you're going through more of it, it's not dying on your back bar. Not to say that Gin Palace would ever allow the vermouth to die. They were like the place to get a martini. In fact, Vernon Chalker would go on to teach people about the martini and preach about the qualities of a martini everywhere from 42 Below Cocktail World Cup. I think he was at 42 Below Cocktail World Cup. I could be mistaken. To like Bartender Magazine in Australia. If you want to find out more about Vernon, I'm not the best source. Have a look for Bartender Magazine Australia. I think it's australianbartender.com.au. They've got a great write-up about him. They know him obviously way better than I do. Right, so gin goes in. I'm going to put 50, and I'm going to aim for quite a bit of dilution because I want that sweetness. Well, more than 50. No one's paying here, right? And I'm the only one drinking them. It's not like anyone can tell whether or not they're good. So that's that gin done. I'm going to give this a little bit of a 1-2, and then I'm going to introduce you to my new glasses, right? So these guys arrived in the mail today, and they are super epic. They're actually hand blown by someone who was watching the show. You might have seen, if you've watched the show a few times, Gavin commenting, being like, Dean, we need to know the glass sizes, right? That's because a guy called Olaf, and I'm not sure, vermouth sales are up 400% or some shit currently. Right, yeah. Olaf, this guy who makes glassware, literally they reached out, they were like, he could make you some. I remember I wanted to recreate those tiny little glasses. One of the first episodes, I was like, does anyone know how to get these? So he made they're quite small. There's a bit of a lip on the outside, but otherwise this proportion is almost the same. which the lip would be quite good. They're like a dancing, maybe baby martini glass. In case you're dancing, you don't want to spill anything. So that's this one done. Going to give it a little stir. Now, I don't want to distract with too much other stuff going on. If I'm going to, toast someone who's passed, they're going to get a toast. The episode's going to be dedicated to them as far as I'm concerned. And they are absolutely gorgeous glasses. You can see where if I can show you better, you can kind of see where it's been hand blown. It like dives in and then stretches out at the end. And they're all just slightly different, which to me is amazing. Right, so strain that guy out. I'm going to keep this. I'll give it a little rinse, Japanese style. And then I want a little bit more dilution on these ones. And for the first one, I might just use a little Italicus pick. Now, I remember this being 3 anchovy stuffed olives. I reached out to the team from Gin Palace and through Mark Ward, who knows them, and asked them about it, just to clarify that there were definitely, I wasn't dreaming that I got the 1951 from them. And they reached back and said, yeah, this is the spec we used. It was super dry. Oh, I forgot to rinse the glass with Contro. I'm failing so bad. Right. Well, this glass won't be chilled. Right. So I'm going to rinse this glass. Put a bit more Contro. I might almost want to drink the Contro. There we go. Give it a nice rinse. And because of the magic of TV, we're going to pretend that glass was cold. I'm sorry. I get distracted when I'm on the show. Now, classic 1951 Martini. I really like the addition of the Contro wash. The sweetness makes your mouth water a little bit more. And then I remember there being more saltiness from the anchovy stuffed olives. But when you start eating them, man, epic. Right, so, I'm going to cut quickly to Mitch's Minute and reset my ice, and then I'll come back. We'll make a couple more martinis, and then we'll call it a day, giving a toast to Vernon Chalker. So, if Mitch's Minute works, Mitch's Minute 48, and obviously every day I'm asking him questions, right? So, it's martini themed.
Martini olive twist. Oh. I mean, for me, twist for sure. And this is me at my absolute most convoluted. The olive does nothing for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take a pickled onion, but if I wanted some saltiness in my martini, I'd just put some saline solution in there. However, I like olives in like spritz style drinks as opposed to putting salt in, because fucking spritz drinks are more like nibble on something. But in a martini, no, always a twist. Did I tell you that I felt like I've been over twisting my drinks? Like over this? Yeah, so I think a subtle light lemon twist is definitely wins over an olive. But the iconicness of the olive is irrefutable. But for me, definitely a twist. And because it brings something to the party that I don't think the olive does.
All right, so ice reset. Now, I want to do the Bombay because I didn't have Bombay in here to use, which would have been more accurate to his flavor favor. But it's Melbourne, right? And if you're gonna pay a toast to Melbourne, Australia, a legendary bartender or bar owner, legendary host, then you got to use the Melbourne gin, right? So now I'm gonna need some interaction here. Do I go Southern Strength or do I go Juniper Freak? Right? Let me know what you think. Which one do you think? Mitch, if you're still watching. Right. I know there's a little bit of a delay on this, so I'm going to hold out a second. Right. Get a little bit of vermouth. Now this time, I'm going to bring in a little bit more vermouth because I've got nice fresh vermouth and it is not the year 2000 anymore. It is the year 2020. 20 years on, we're using more. 2 for Southern Strength. Okay, happy days. All right, thanks boys. Got Southern Strength in. And I'm going to do the same size. I'm going to hit... I like my martinis, and I had this discussion with Mitch. I was hoping to try to call Mitch in on Skype so you could have your first live guest. If I get 3 people that say it's worthwhile, we will wait and hang out while you figure that out, Dean. I'll do it. We'll just learn how to do it live and cut to him live. So, a bit more vermouth in this one. We've got Southern Strength. I'm going to give that plenty of dilution. I want it to taste. I want good clean ice. So this is from the London Ice Studio, this ice, right? It's proper like block frozen ice that they've chipped off the ends and given to me as shaking ice, right? And fortunately for me, the guys mentioned that they are also able to produce ice stamps. And Zdenek, you're watching, right? Check this ice stamp out. So I had an ice stamp already, but it was one of the old dated branding. But check this out. Look at this. Oh yeah. It's just the TV lockout. How cool is that? Boo! Ice stamp. I'm pretty chuffed with that ice stamp. Right, hay fever is... I'm trying not to sneeze. Right, now, I'm going to do the same thing with the Contro wash. I'm not going to bother trying to chill this down if I'm doing Contro washes in them. I want one day to get a few temperature gauges in these and see. It's worthwhile? Yeah. Right, that's that done. I'm going to search for people. Is the keyboard working? No, keyboard's not working. That's so evil. Why does this stuff happen to me? Now that's got a little bit of a color to it. Wow. That's like going like trend. It's got like a opaque bit of extra color going now. I'm gonna go back here, and because it's Southern Strength and it's my fancy gin, right? I am giving this one a Sword of Destiny. Yep, it's one of the good swords. I like this sword way better than the other sword. There's 2 different types of swords on this Sword of Destiny wheel. You don't know which one you're going to get. You spin it, and then you hope for one of the half ones. Like, this one has a flat blade, like a long sword, and the other ones are like pins, like, you know, French-looking musketeer swords. I always thought if I was one of the people back in the old days in the battlefields, I'd have a big, long sword, you know, like massive one, like the one that Jon Snow has with the kind of wolf on the top of it, instead of one of the little... that's not my style. Definitely one of the big long swords, so I'm always happier when I get a long sword. Right, let's see how this tastes. I bet it's going to taste amazing. Come on, buddy. This is so evil. So, Mitch, I can't call you, bro. This tastes better. I don't know what it is. Maybe the extra, like the extra strength has given it a bit more punch. That's considerably better. I'm even getting more salty flavor. Plymouth is quite light. I normally use Plymouth in like south sides or more delicate drinks like fizzes and stuff like that, where I want to kind of bring out the fruitiness. But this worked out quite well. Oh. So good. Best part about this, I am literally drinking my martinis as if I was on my lunch break at work, right? And watch this. I'm going to disappear off camera to get my other keyboard in the hope that I can connect to Mitch through the comments, right? So if you look at this, I'm getting so anal about like this keyboard. Note here, nothing. On this keyboard though, this keyboard is keyboard number 2. You probably can't read that, but it says keyboard number 2. Because number 2, I needed to mark them. Number 1 always works. That's my number 1 keyboard. So Mitch, mate, what am I typing in? All right, I got it. We're going to do this together, guys. Try Mitch Bushell. Right, Mitch. This is going to be so cool if it works. Definitely next time, I need to line this up way beforehand. All right. I'm going to try this. So I'm saying hi. Updating. So Mitch, if you're watching, you should have got a little wave. Right? There he goes. Hang up, dude. I've got to call you. There we go. Bang. No, don't call me. Yo, yo, yo.
Can you see me? Fucking dog. Can you see me?
I can hear you, if that helps. Can you hear me?
This fucking prick. Look at them.
All right, let's cut to this.
Ow.
So if I can get you guys who are watching to let me know if this technology actually works. Yeah, Excalibur. Guys, have we got this working? If we have, great. So Mitch, you knew Vernon much better than me, right?
I can't see you, but I probably wouldn't be able to, right? Did you call me from your computer or from your phone?
I called you from my computer, but what do you mean you can't see me? What are you seeing?
Just a picture of you smirking, drinking an Irish coffee style looking drink.
How's this?
That's you.
Am I smirking, drinking martini now?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I mean, I've been wrong before.
Mitch is there. Look, Mitch is here.
You're a fucking horrible dog sometimes, you know that, Monty? You're a prick. How do I look? Fucking terrible, right? Well.
Bam.
Hey, shall I make a martini too?
Yeah, man, make a martini as well. But can you do me a favor, right? I think there might be a few people.
I can see you.
Hey, you can see me. What can you see?
It's live as well.
It's what?
It's live, like I'm seeing it in real time.
Okay.
Yeah, but McGregor.
So, dude, the McGregor bartender, like, what? Dude, what was I going to say? So, you knew Vernon and the impact that Vernon had on the Melbourne and Australia-wide bartender scene much better than me. Could you explain to people, like, what he meant to people. Because to me, I felt like if I was going to compare him to someone so that people could understand, I would say that he was like the Sasha Petrovsky of Australia. He made a great bar that did great things and then just took care of his guests. You know what I mean? Wasn't necessarily the biggest media whore out there, but what would you say to that?
He was one of the sort of forefathers of the Australian scene. Gin Palace was one of the first cocktail bars in that Melbourne scene, and that was when Melbourne was like way ahead of Sydney. You know what I mean? Like when Sydney was still banging out like big stick drinks and fucking lychee martinis and that type of thing. Black Pearl, Ginger. Alex Ross's spot, Ginger.
Yeah, Ginger. I remember Ginger well.
Where Jason Williams and Sam Ross got their start. And I'm not 100% on this because obviously I'm a Sydney guy, not a Melbourne cat, but I would be willing to pitch that it's one of the more significant modern bars in the Australian scene, or what kick-started the modern Australian scene. I mean, obviously we had the Bayswater Brasserie in Sydney.
Yeah.
But down in Melbourne, right, it was Ginger, Pearl, Gin Palace, but Gin Palace knocked out like 15 fucking years, bro. They're still trading.
It's more than 15 years, man. I was there in 2003 and they felt like an established bar already. Like, it must have been 90s, dude.
And he didn't just have that spot. Like, he kickstarted a bunch of really, like, high concept spots. But also, the balls of the guy to open a gin joint when nobody's drinking fucking gin.
Yeah, in Australia it was a rum and coke, scotch and coke, scotch and dry type of space.
You're talking about like the high watermark of flavored vodkas as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's legitimate flavored vodka bars.
Yeah, so for me, the impact it had on me, I was working in the Martini bar at the Western Hotel, which totally did not suit my mindset at the time. I was living in a backpackers. I lived in a backpackers for 8 months, which had a 24-hour bar. So I was just drinking and then going into work, and then I had my press suit ready for me and having a shower, getting in my suit, and like probably not even sleeping and starting work again. But it was driving me crazy making lychee martinis and strawberry crantinis and stuff like that for people that thought they were fancy, but they really weren't. And when I went to Gin Palace, it struck me that they were making delicious martinis that felt like legit martinis. And I was making flavored martinis, like the modern take on a teeny at the time. And I went back and got a 1951 on the list, and started to be able, having been inspired by him, to influence the guests to drink real drinks, which is what I thought at the time. And that never left me. You know, the first guest shift I did in London, I had a 1981 martini on it, which was a twist on a 1951, but because I was born in 1981, so it was my twist. But yeah, so it had massive influence on me, which is why I wanted to do a little toast to him. But what martini are you making?
Oh, I'm making a wet gin martini. I'm using Never Never Southern Strength as well.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I just happen to have a bottle on hand. Actually, I've got a fucking belted fucking selection of gins at home. But I'm using the Sue's orange bitters as well, as I left the Hannah Langfair orange bitters. Have you had those before? The ones that she made when she was at
No, man. I haven't got Hannah Langfair's orange bitters. If I could get Hannah Langfair to watch this show, I might invite her on the show. That would be epic. Now that I know I can do the Skype thing, we can do live.
She is one of the best bartenders that doesn't get the recognition that she deserves, and she's a lovely person. Beast as well.
Oh, you don't have to remind me, man. When I first moved,
there's a cocktail glass in the freezer from when I was on the phone to you last night with that martini that I forgot to make.
Yeah, last night was fun. So, ladies and gentlemen at home, we decided last night to do this type of thing and test the Skype, and we just got on a call and started talking shit to each other, and forgot all about testing to see whether or not we could get this stuff to work. Olaf, yes. Hello, buddy. So, guys, anyone that's watching, you can see now Olaf Tappert has said hello from Germany, and Olaf is the guy that hand blown these glasses, and he was lovely enough to do them for like fuck all. Like he asked me what I wanted. I gave him a basic idea of what I wanted, and then he replicated what I'd asked for in a glass, and then posted them DHL to me in a big box with loads of straw and loads of bubble wrap. He like treats them like children. So if you're looking for some custom glassware, that's your man. Send him a message.
Yo, did you just get a message from Zenek?
Yeah, I don't know. I turned my phone off. It's like I'm so happy I've got someone else on the show. The whole idea is people are meant to sit here, but I'm so stoked that you're on the show with me.
I love the fact that Zenek's over in Miami being like, fucking you guys aren't having Martini without me.
Well, Z, send me a message on Skype. I can add you. We can have 3 of us. Did he just send you a message?
I think so. It popped up, but I was...
Fuck, it'd be cool if I could randomly invite Z to the bar. It feels more like a bar if people can randomly walk in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I feel more like a bartender when people can randomly walk in. So back to Gin Palace. What was the last time you were there? Do you remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
The last bar manager, I'm pretty sure she's like the East Imperial. Anyway, cheers.
Wait. I'm still behind. That's not a martini. That's like an empty one. I drank all my martinis. I'm going to measure this one out so I know the spec.
The bar manager there when I left Melbourne after we did Heartbreaker. What is that Bombay you're drinking? Is that like a...
Aged Bombay. It's like, dude, it's fucking delicious. I'm really sorry, man. But like, it flashed up in Singapore duty free for 5 minutes, and I took a trip to Singapore specifically to get it, pretty much. and then got it, and they discontinued it before it even got out. Like, no one knew about it. Bombay Amber. Raj Nagra, who was the global brand ambassador at the time, was like, "You got a bottle?" I was like, "Yeah, bro. Like, I'm Dean. I want to hunt shit down. I used to be a Bombay brand ambassador. Of course, I'm going to know have to know what it tastes like." And then it disappeared. So
what? Raj doesn't have any because he doesn't live that far from my house.
I hope he does have some, because then we could make. I'll hang on to this, and we can make like a drink together. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, we should just fucking just.
Is that
Raj
Karen?
now.
Is Karen in the background?
Raj, where's your bomb? That's Karen.
Hey! What's happening? We're making 1951 martinis.
I love it.
Yeah, they have a Contro wash. You see that? Oh.
You're keeping me employed, Dean.
I will drink as much Contro as I possibly can.
Well, tomorrow is National Cosmopolitan Day.
Oh, I'm not doing an episode tomorrow. Maybe I'll do one on Friday. I'll make a Cosmo on Friday.
Well, make a lecture at Cosmo. She deserves it.
I will. Yeah.
Find out what French Martini Day is.
Or breakfast martini.
It's French Martini Day.
We should just keep it rolling. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Contro because of Alfred Contro.
Isn't he the best?
He's so cool. One time I nearly died, and he heard about it, I don't know how, and sent me a private message being like, "Dean, I heard about your situation. I hope you're okay. If you ever need anything, just call me." Which I hadn't told anyone about it. So it's like, wow. He must be one of the Illuminati. Apparently he went looking for me, and they had to say to him, like, yeah, he's not here.
Dean, you've got us in our morning best.
You're always at your morning best. Are you serious? This is the greatest thing ever, right? That thing is the daddy. What's that thing? Mitch's Martini has kids all over town. These are cool. I love the comments. Right.
Who said that?
Craig Judkins. You know Craig?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, Craig! You guys need to know Craig. You guys need. We should do one of these where you guys are sitting at the bar and so is Craig.
I miss sitting at your bar so much.
Have you ever heard of the Turtleneck Club?
No.
No.
I don't know what it is. I've heard of it. Oh no, it's the Hendrix thing, right?
It's the Craig thing.
Oh.
Hendrix jumped on the piggyback back of it, as far as I understand. It's all about Craig. He lives in Germany, but he's American. and
Yeah. He hangs out with, what's that fucking sweet little Hendrix brand ambassador in Germany name?
Coco. Yeah.
That guy is. Well, you know how you like flippantly always say things like, "Oh, that's the best," or "This is the best." Coco is actually the best.
Yeah.
That guy, fucking awesome.
Coco is the best. Have you met Coco yet, Karen?
I don't think so.
So wait. Coco is not only German. He's not only German, but he's red-headed. So he's like a ginger German. He's like flamboyantly gay, like, and he's a Jew. So he's like a Jewish German. He's a gay Jewish German guy, like, and man, in Germany, like to have all the possible things that people could like, you know, pick on you for. Like, I know I probably shouldn't say this live, but
this is the episode that gets us shut down.
Mate, one time I was in Germany and I went to get in a taxi and I hugged a friend of mine who was gay, and the taxi rank decided not to take me. They got homophobe and tried to beat me up, and which you can imagine didn't go well. And the police were hunting me down for about 6 hours.
Well, Coco and I might be cousins because I'm a ginger Jew of German descent. So.
Wow!
And also only 5 foot tall.
Yeah, exactly. Coco's also really little. Make great brand ambassadors.
He's fun size, without a doubt.
Anyway, there we go. Coco is amazing. See? We're getting more comments in. Coco is a legend. Anyway, I can't believe this conversation. It feels like we're at home. And then I just say the most horribly random stuff. Anyway, toast.
To Vernon Chalker.
To Vernon. Cheers, guys. Love you guys. And thanks for coming on, Mitch.
Hey, thanks for getting me out of bed every morning.
So I think I left off with like, how would you compare him so that people could relate to his impact? Well,
I mean, I think when you said Sasha, I think that made a lot of sense. I mean, to quantify that to the UK, I guess that's what Jonathan Downey was, right? Like he was the one really like pushing the parcel on quality drinks and quality service, when everybody else was really, I mean, those were dark ages.
Yep.
Like I was working at Opera Bar then, and we were turning, 175 grand in a day. But we were also knocking out fucking $9 Coronas and what was it?
$9 Coronas?
Yeah, $9 is actually a cheap Corona in Australia, to be perfectly honest. $9 Coronas is not unreasonable in Australia. I think they're probably like $13 now. But like we were deep in like stick drinks and vodka lemon lime bitters with cordial. Do you remember that?
Oh, the lemon lime and bitters.
Vodka lemon lime bitters. Remember when that was the biggest fucking drink? Like, I know we already touched on Caprioscas and Caipirinhas and those big ass fucking stick drinks, and having like giant arms.
Vodka lemon lime and bitters were like the worst. So for those that don't know, in Australia, when I first started bartending, I was taught how to make a vodka lemon lime bitters. And when you make a vodka lemon lime bitters, folks, you take your Angostura bitters and you douse the inside of the glass, and then you have to flick it so the Angostura bitters goes all over the back of the guests and everywhere, right? That's what I was taught to do. You flick the glass, and you get all the excess Angostura bitters out from the inside, because Angostura bitters is non-potable, people. It's non-potable. You can't drink it. It's poisonous. And that's why it doesn't pay tax in Australia, because it's non-potable. Even though it's, 44.7% alcohol. So people kept telling me that you can't drink Angostura bitters. If you have a whole shot of Angostura bitters, you'll die. And I was like, shit, I'm pretty indestructible. So I started doing shots of Angostura bitters. And I proved them wrong to their face. And then they thought it was like, to them, it was like me eating a Tide Pod. That was their opinion of Angostura bitters. I used to lose my mind because I was like, this is alcohol.
Sour in Australia would cost like $80. It'd be so fucking expensive.
Yeah, Angostura bitters is super expensive in Australia. But it was Australia was the biggest market in the world, wasn't it?
Quite quickly.
What's that?
Well, let me get pen and paper.
All right, it's gotten too random, ladies and gentlemen. I think yeah, you can't remove Angostura bitters from clothes. People should do a tie-dye in an Angostura bitters bath.
I just remember all the bars I've worked at that had, white uniforms and Angostura stains forever. You never looked put together. There's no way you could.
So how have you been, Karen? When are you coming to the UK?
Well, I was supposed to be there right now, actually.
I know.
I was supposed to be in Isla doing a little tour of Bruichladdich right now. We need
to hang out together and go do a tour of Scotland. I can bring cameras and pretend it's a work trip. It'll be amazing.
Well, the next trip, if it doesn't get canceled, if we're able to travel, in September, I'm meant to go do a little foraging on Isla for the Botanist gin, which is great.
Oh, nice. You're going to go foraging for them?
Say that again?
You're going to go foraging with them?
Yeah, Bruichladdich and Botanist work with 13 local farmers and foragers, so...
And do the ingredients that you forage go into the actual product?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's 22...
That's pretty cool.
There's 22 hand-foraged botanicals on the island of Isla that go into the Botanist.
Very cool. Okay, so what are we doing now? I'm going to have to go, because otherwise it's going to...
Okay.
My computer will have a meltdown when I try to upload it to YouTube. But thank you so much for getting on the show. And it works, so we can do it again. If you're up for it. We'll plan it next time. It'll be great. We'll have plans.
Let the dog stomp around on me first.
So the first 3 months of this show were meant to be me figuring out the technology, and it looks like we're on schedule. Look.
You're crushing it.
All the angles work. We got the live stream working. Audio seems to be good. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Great.
Now I need to figure out how to hang up.
Yeah, how do we get Zenikin?
So I can cut... Oh, how do we get Zenikin? That I don't know.
I'll hang up on you and I'm going to find Zenik.
Add people.
No.
Oh,
I figured it out.
Yeah, but whether or not you adding people is the same thing as me adding people?
Maybe. We don't have Zenik. So
I don't have Zenik. Next time. Let's get him next time.
All right.
Because it's been 50 minutes now. People already switched off. There's only I can't see how many people are watching, but I doubt anyone's watching. No one's commenting anymore. So, also people are asking you to remove your clothes, Mitch.
Please don't.
Wait, I've for some reason I've lost your feed on here, Mitch.
Well, honestly, you're not missing out on anything other
than... Oh no, I got you back. You took the clothes off. This is epic. Dude, we should change it to the Mitch and Dean show.
Just morning raunch.
We'll call it D&M. And then say a bunch of dumb shit. So Zdenek and Daniel are active. Yeah, people are watching. So Z, dude, send us a message on. We were gonna add him. It's too late. Next time.
All right, let's practice afterwards.
He said I texted all your Skypes. Yeah, I don't see him texting my Skype, man. All right, next time. Awesome. Thanks, Mitch.
Ciao, brother.
Love you, brother. Bye. Right. So that was very random. I'm not gonna lie. I feel so connected and such good friends with Mitch and Karen that he's calling. That it almost felt like I wasn't doing the show. Does this work? Right. So that was very random. I'm not gonna lie. Bro. So Zdenek called me. Look, I'm gonna end this. It's been lovely. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And next time, now that we know that the Skype thing works, last couple of times we tried to use it, it did not work. I might put some more guests together. Daniel, if you're still watching, yeah, Daniel, if you're still watching, I'm going to try to send you a sample of this tomorrow, right? Just courier it up to you. We'll just keep it within London, keep it simple. And then Friday, if you're available at 6, we can Skype like that and do a tasting together, right? If I can get other people that I know are definitely going to dial in on Skype, rock and roll. If you've got your little man with you, then, you know, maybe I'll try to get Axel in. I can't guarantee that. His granny will be taking care of him, but maybe he can come in for a little bit. Anyway, thank you, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you Friday. And Friday, we're going to be tasting the plantation rum, Isle of Fiji, with the actual plantation guy who knows shit about it. He's going to be calling in on Skype. If it's only him in the Skype, then we learn about it. I'll ask him as many questions as I can, and I'll relay any questions you have. Otherwise, I'm going to try to do the tasting as I hoped I would be able to do, with multiple different people involved, getting as much feedback as I possibly can. But best case, we get Paul McFadden explaining this stuff to us through Skype on the Dean Callan Show, and I'll relay your questions to him. It's been a pleasure. I hope this was a nice distraction. And until next time, thank you for tuning in.